And August 13th, 2020, it's the man they call Meathead. And, I have started to look forward to, even though my never been guaranteed one. Talk to you folks on Thursday mornings, because we always have a big, hot night of wrestling action. Well, we've got Dameon Nelson, so let's get going. Good morning, Dameon. How is things going on a Thursday morning and out in the swamp?
Things are going great, and it's not a swamp. New Jersey is actually a beautiful state, the Garden State. Lots of there's an awful lot of trees out here, which became evident in the hurricane last week. I'm sorry?
In Milwaukee, you and I both, Milwaukee born and raised. Milwaukee was always the city of trees. There was more trees in Milwaukee than almost any other city I ever went to.
No, you're mistaken. Philadelphia is where I was born and raised, on the playground.
Let's just end it.
I used to hang out with Aisha.
Shot and a goal. Seriously, let's just call it right there. Drop the mic. Costanza style. Good night, everybody.
Leave it on a high note.
But yeah, lots of trees out in Jersey. Now you're not northern Jersey. You're not New York City, but you're in Jersey. The as you say, not the swamp, but the tree area.
Yes.
I understand that there's some bodies buried out there, but other than that, I guess it sounds nice.
There are bodies buried everywhere.
Is Jimmy Hoffa around? Is he? Can you get Jimmy on the phone? He's not on the phone.
Who the hell was that? Some mid-carder?
Yeah. Who'd he ever meet? Jimmy Hoffa. All right. So big night last night. We had AEW and NXT. On AEW, it was a themed, but not really a themed night, because, hey, excuse my cough, I get all choked up when I talk about it.
It was tag team night.
Yeah, it was tag team night. It was tag team appreciation night. It was part of the FTR's contract negotiations. They had one night dedicated to tag team wrestling, and it was last night. Here's what we had. We'll run down the matches, and we'll kind of go match by match after. The Dark Order took on the Young Bucks. MJF had a little bit of a speech where Moxley interrupted. Cody actually battled Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship, which has been completed. Remember, Cody has always mentioned that his belt wasn't finished during COVID. He wasn't, didn't get the extra gimmicks put on it. Well, that's done now. Kenny Page and I almost said Adam Omega. Adam Page and Kenny Omega took on Jurassic Park, otherwise known as Jurassic Express. There was a big promo between the Rock and Roll Express, FTR, Young Bucks, Arn, and Tully. Sheeta took on Heather Monroe, and in the main event, it was that $7,000 obligation match. Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. All right, first, let's talk about the Dark Order, the Young Bucks. Dameon, you're a big Young Bucks guy, with the exception of the music. I know you love them.
I don't.
I know you love a super kick party. A lot of eye slapping.
No, I don't. I need help. Actually, I'm gonna ask the audience. I need help. I need someone to help me understand how I shouldn't hate the Young Bucks. And I'm sorry to use that word, but I watch them and literally I just can't. And I don't know what it is, Meathead. I really don't. But any of their matches, I just something about them, I just don't like it. And it pains me to say that because I feel like I should, because everyone does, but I just don't like them.
Here's where I struggle with the Young Bucks. We talked about this before. I know you've mentioned it as well. Their entrance music. I'm a music guy when it comes to wrestling, and I love a good entrance theme. That's really what turned me on Jeff Hardy. I used to not be a Jeff Hardy guy, but when he came out with the better, faster music, oh my God, I was right on Jericho. Kennedy's music, Turn Up the Trouble. I loved all that music. Jericho's music when he first debuted, which he used all the way through, Break the Walls Down. That's great music. Austin's music, he had Disturbed do his music. Triple H, Motorhead. It goes on and on and on. The music doesn't fit for me, and anytime I watch a Bucks match, I don't need to keep beating a dead horse, but there's a lot of stand and wait spots, and there's a lot of jumping on a ring in 4 or 5 man spots. I don't see any wrestling. I just see spots. Spots on spots on spots. That's what I see.
Yeah, and I don't. Look, they're talented. They're very talented. I can't even say their matches are good. I don't. Meathead. Maybe it's the tights. I don't know. There's something I can't watch them wrestle. And I want the audience to help me get over that. Help me like the Young Bucks. And it's not just the music. It's not just the tights. It's not just the super kicks. It's not just the smirks. It's everything. And I hate that it's everything because I just don't know. I just don't know what it is.
Okay. Well, folks, make sure you comment. Make sure you react to this. Make sure you're reaching out to us on the social media threads here. Wherever you can get at us. Let us know what it is. I mean, what is the issue with the Young Bucks for Dameon Nelson? Make sure you reply back. Bucks win that match against the Dark Order. Now, MJF, Maxwell, Jacob Freeman.
That's somebody I like.
Now, he's got it going on, and I'll be honest. You know what's growing on me?
Boys tribute 23 years ago today. They released their Backstreet's Back or Everybody album. One of the two albums.
It's one of those. You know what's growing on me? I noticed it in this particular segment, but it was going. I don't know where Excalibur is right now. I don't know if he's home because of certain things he's done, or if he's home because he's sick, or whatever the issue is.
I thought about that. It's been like 3 weeks.
The 3-man team, even though Taz, doing a little bit of fanboying against the faces, the 3-man team of Shivani, JR, and Taz is not bad. I actually enjoy it. And, Taz and JR had some great back and forths. And JR, JR was never one that did this a lot with the King because King was always so on, with his puppies and everything else he did. And all JR had to be was a straight man. But JR, a couple backhanded shots that are just absolutely hilarious.
I got to ask you this, Meathead. I was thinking about this last night as I was watching AEW. Was Shivani this good in WCW?
Yes, he was. However, you had everything else going on in WCW. He was forced to say that'll put some butts in the seats when Mick Foley won the championship. That wasn't Shivani's call. He was told to do that.
Yeah.
Shivani was good before the Monday Night Wars.
He's damn good. JR is, as good as he can be right now.
He's in a groove, actually. JR's back.
You know what, Meathead? It's a challenge because in the Attitude Era, in WWE, on Raw, each and every week, there were tremendous stories, tremendous stars, tremendous talents, the passion, the energy, the excitement. JR had all of that.
Yeah.
I feel that in AEW, he's lacking the storytelling. And I don't mean he's lacking. What I mean is the storytelling is lacking, even though it's great. All of that is contradictory. But it's not that he's not screaming. It's not that he's not yelling, but that is part of it. But if you go back and listen to JR, why Triple H? Why? You son of a bitch. All
high energy.
It was so high energy. And now, granted, he's older and may not be as inclined to do that, but I felt not that he's bad, because please don't take this as that, but I felt that it's been distinctly different since he's been in AEW. And again, not that it's bad, but it's not the JR from the Attitude Era.
Well, and to be honest, none of them do that. So, I mean, this is a different company, so maybe they don't need the yelling. And maybe that's what we're looking for coming out of JR. But right now, I think JR has, it took a little while. JR and Shivani have been on TV again together since, what did TV's debut for them? I think it was...
October 18.
Yeah, October. So we're almost at a year now. And they're gelling, man. They are gelling like Magellan.
Wait, what math are you using? October 18 to now is it's actually over a year.
October 18th till now?
Yeah, it's 2020, dude.
Yeah, October 18th of last year.
No, 2018.
Oh, no. I'm talking about TV. I'm talking about TNT. I'm not talking about pay-per-view. I'm not talking about the company. I'm talking about TNT.
Don't get hot.
No, I'm talking about TV. I'm talking about weekly episodic episodes where they're not, coming in for a pay-per-view once every quarter. Okay? So the math I'm using says it's almost the year.
Okay.
That's that Milwaukee Public School System education.
North or South Division?
Neither. I'm a Bayview guy, so.
There was a West Division, wasn't there?
Yeah, West Division was, it's closed now, but West Division was, and please don't mock me when I say west side of Milwaukee, but I think West was somewhere in the center of the city, but they still called it West because Tosa reaches in right around that center.
There was no East Division, though, right?
There was a long time ago. I think that's one of the names that they used to call Riverside.
Little Milwaukee history lesson for everyone.
Little Milwaukee history lesson. Again, and we've already beat it to, ad nauseum, but that issue with the Tulsa police officer as well, that happened over the weekend. But be that as may, let's go back into wrestling here. So good segment. Again, like I said, I was enjoying everything that was going on with Shivani, JR, talking about Moxley coming in. It was just ironic that Taz, and being the heel commentator that he was. And I think Taz is still an underrated, as of 2020, underrated heel commentator. I really thought he had good chemistry going with Cole on SmackDown many years that he was there. He said that Moxley, with that cheap behind shot, he came through the entranceway. Moxley Norman comes out of crowd. He came up through the entrance ramp and up the ramp. How is that from behind? But anyway, Cody versus Scorpio Sky. I thought when Cody came out, he came out with, it looked like QT Marshall, Dustin, Arn, Brandy, and they were carrying a flag. I was like, man, that's a lot of people that you're bringing out there. But you know what? It's like a boxing entourage. I actually like it now, and it's entertaining to me. I think it fits. I think he needs about two more. Find two more people to bring out there with him. So I thought it worked.
Scorpio.
Go ahead.
Scorpio Sky, tremendous talent. I struggle with getting him confused with Ricochet quite a bit, but
no, Scorpio's got more. Scorpio's big. Ricochet's a little thin, a little rail thin.
Yeah. This was Scorpio Sky's chance. Great match.
Great promo. I love the promo, and I love the entrance and the pyro as well. It was fantastic.
Yeah. He didn't come up with the win last night, but he did come up with the, I guess you can call it, what do you call it? The comeuppings, if you will.
Comeuppance? Yeah, the coming of age.
Yeah. I mean, Scorpio Sky's always been a great talent. He's been sort of not buried, but he's sort of been embedded within SCU, so not able to stand out. Last night, he stands out on his own against Cody, the endorsed Cody Rhodes, and it was a great match. And all of these TNT Championship matchups have been great. And what they're doing, as they should do with any championship, is they're making not only the championship important, but they're making new stars out of the challengers for that championship, and that's great.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Hey, so there was a promo last night between the Rock and Roll Express, because it's Tag Team Appreciation Night, FTR, the Young Bucks, and also there was Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. So, wrestling historians know that that's two of the tag teams that are going right now, and two of the tag teams from the 70s, 80s, 90s ish. The Tully and Arn team was more 80s, but kind of old school and new school. The Rock and Roll Express still look good. They look healthy. Ricky sounds good on the microphone. He sounds real good. I have an issue, though, with I don't understand why FTR goes after the Rock and Roll Express and, hits him with the knee brace. Tully Blanchard made a great point. All you guys are out here hand gladding each other, patting each other on the back. You know how you can tell that you're the number one? You have the gold. Young Bucks, yeah, you're good. Where's your gold? FTR, yeah, you're good. Where's your gold? You're not the tag team champions. And then, Arn says, oh, I see how this is going. What's going on here? And here comes, obviously, the chairman of AEW. And he goes, I see how this is going. Drops the mic and walks out. And then there's the attack on the Rock and Roll Express, FTR, with kind of not a heel turn. I wouldn't call that necessarily a heel turn, because were they ever faces? So, they're always out for their own business. Your thoughts on your team, your boys, the Revival FTR, actually going after the Rock and Roll Express?
It's great. And you can't have a tag team appreciation night without appreciating that is the Rock and Roll Express. It was good to see them there.
Yeah.
It was a good showing for them, and it really, I think FTR shined in this situation by getting the rub from being in the ring with those great tag teams. So I appreciate all that FTR is doing. I appreciate they're fantastic, to be honest with you, and their appreciation for old school wrestling is admirable. And I like the fact that we've seen a resurgence of said wrestling since they have come over to AEW.
Not only them, but AEW in general. And, we say how much that something bugs us with the Young Bucks, and we say how much that something's wrong with them. Let's give credit where credit's due as well. The Young Bucks are out there doing tag team wrestling. Neither of them have tried to go out and be singles competitors. and they're putting tag team wrestling back on the map.
Yeah. And, it's so funny. Over the years, there's been all these resurgences of tag team wrestling. And, it's never really taken. Now, this time, it does seem to be taking. And that's where AEW continues to show their difference, is they're focused on it. They have a tag team appreciation night. Granted, this is all part of the, contract terms, if you will, of FTR. But when you got a great team like FTR to lead your tag team division, notice I'm not mentioning the Young Bucks as I just did. Then why not? And it's good, and it's what again provides that difference between AEW and WWE.
Yeah. Now, we just talked about the strength of AEW, which is tag team wrestling. I think their biggest weakness is actually their women's division. Shida takes on Heather Monroe, and this is nothing against Shida, and I don't even know who Heather Monroe is, but I was indifferent. This, as they call in the industry, was the popcorn match to me.
Yeah. I will say this, and this is no knock on talents because they're putting forth tremendous effort, but each week on AEW Dynamite, the women's matches, aside from anything Britt Baker does, because she's fantastic,
she's my role model.
They've been lax. And again, no knock on the talent, but it just seems like they're there to be there versus they're of significance. And I'm not going to say, well, I will say, actually, this may be one area where WWE is taking the title, if you will. Bayley and Sasha have been fantastic. Asuka has been fantastic. Shayna Baszler has been fantastic.
Alexa's been amazing, too. And
absolutely.
Even Nikki Cross. And,
yeah, their deeper roster over on the east side, I'll call it, WWE, has been...
That's when you get over the river, right? That's when the numbers end and you get over the river?
Yeah, over at East Division.
Right, I was going to say that's a little wonky for you right there.
Yeah, they've been great, and I do think AEW has some work to do now. Of course, they just introduced AEW Heel, which is focused on, I believe, their women competitors, heels. So that's good, but that's an area where they can definitely improve.
Yep, main event, $7,000 obligation match. Chris Jericho, Le Champion, the Demo God. I'm Chris Jericho, man, taking on Orange, freshly squeezed Cassidy. The winner of the match, as I told Matthew yesterday morning, was going to be Orange Cassidy because there's nothing wrong with Jericho losing. Jericho can lose, still be Jericho. Matthew's thought was to have Orange lose, so he had to get an Uber job and try to make up all the $7,000 that he lost, which was funny. But Mike Chioda refereeing, legendary referee.
Yes!
Mike Chioda refereeing this match. And Orange Cassidy, after the shenanigans, there was a bit of shenanigans in there. Orange Cassidy comes out the winner. I'm still a big Orange Cassidy fan. Love it.
You mentioned shenanigans. You mentioned Mike Chioda, WWE referee extraordinaire, released back in April or May or March, whenever it was, when they did their mass cuts. And I've got a funny Chioda story. WrestleMania 27, Hotlanta, GA. It was our first shenanigans party. In fact, that was the party where it was sort of transitioned over to us. And as you know, great friends with Kevin Nash, who hosts the shenanigans party every year. So we're at the hotel, the WDB hotel in Atlanta. And after playing Pyramid with champagne glasses with Rey Mysterio, I ended up in what I thought
I got to ask, how tall did that Pyramid go? I mean, come on.
I think his goal was to make it taller than him. He was awesome that night. But after that, we went up to what I thought was Kevin Nash's room for the after party, because Kevin's always hosting the party. And we're up there chilling. It's me, Dave, Linda, and I think Frank Costantino, the Kaz, was there as well. And I actually, and Kaz was with us with Mysterio, and we got locked out, if you will. So we had to get let up. And it was actually Bray Wyatt who let us up. But be that as it may, we get up to the room. We're there all night. We're partying. We're out on the patio. That's not a patio. It's just a window with a little ledge that opens. And we're hanging. We're chilling. And the next day, there's WrestleCon. We're talking to Kevin because he's there signing. And I'm like, dude, did you get any noise complaints for your room? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, there were a lot of people in there. We were sort of loud. He goes, that wasn't my room. What? I'm like, are you sure you were holding court? He's like, no, that was Chioda's room. And Chioda was there. And, we were chatting or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, shoot. I didn't realize the entire night we're hanging in that room, and I was not with it at the end of the night, we were in Chioda's room the entire night, which was, and it made sense because, towards the end of the night, he was like not telling us to go, but you could tell he was ready to go to bed. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, why don't you go to your room? Well, he was already in his room. So interesting Kyoto story. Kyoto's great ref. Been with WWE for so long. It's good to see him there in AEW. They have a Hebner though. I thought they had Earl and maybe Brian Hebner as well, with who we haven't seen in quite a while. But the referee. You think of Tommy Long back in the WCW days, and when he was refereeing a match. Did you say
Tommy or Teddy?
Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm thinking of Teddy Long, WCW refereeing after he managed, and then WWF. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Tommy, was it Tommy Young?
It was
Tommy Young. Tommy Young.
Yeah, Tommy Young.
You know what? Someone's going to correct this. That's fine. Tell me why I hate the Young Bucks, and tell me who the WCW referee was. But there are certain referees that always add to a match. Earl Hebner, Tommy Young,
Mark Curtis for me. Mark Curtis.
Yeah, I know you've been a Mark Curtis fan, but to have him in AEW is great.
Yeah,
because the referee is the man who guides the match, and they play a very important role, and he did last night on AEW in the 2 matches he refereed.
I tell you what, Aubrey Edwards in
she's great.
I think it was Revolution. When she kicked all of the Inner Circle out during the Moxley Jericho match, she did the dusty roll of the arms. Get out of here! I lost it. I mean, I absolutely lost it. I never jumped for a referee spot for so long. I mean, since Mark Curtis passed away, but that was amazing. So, yeah, Mark Curtis was a big WCW ref. He reffed a lot of the Booker T. Benoit Best of 5 series, the 6 matches in the Best of 5. Because it was a tie, obviously, in match 5.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk NXT before we go super, super long here.
Wait a minute. Let's give what were your final thoughts on AEW last night?
Oh, absolutely tremendous. My final thoughts on Jericho Orange really kind of capped it off. Like I said, the women's are lacking a little. I'd like to see more, but it doesn't mean that they're not putting out an effort. I love the entire show, and it's the one I choose to watch first.
All right, fair enough. It was a good show. Good show last night from AEW.
All right, so let me run down NXT, and then we'll kind of come back around to it. Karrion Kross has an opening match, and really the story here is when Karrion Kross wins, Keith Lee comes out, says, I begged Mr. Regal, so his signature's on here, mine's on here. The only thing that's not on here is your punk-ass signature. Slides it through the ropes, different camera angle. I thought it was very cool. When they finally signed it, slid it back underneath the ropes, and it took forever. I'm like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? Something's got to be coming. What are we doing? Opens it up, and a fireball comes out of the contract, burns Keith Lee, and they call the ambulance because Keith Lee has been burned. Your thoughts on this? Because I've never seen it before.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Woo-hoo. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Fireball. Okay, so clearly you're old. We haven't seen a fireball in wrestling in a very long time, and it's always a great spot. I thought it was a good spot as well on NXT last night. They're doing what they can to be different as well, and this was good. It came off great, and I was intrigued by the story that was told.
All right, so our guy Drake Maverick had a match with Killian Dane that was just broken up by the Undisputed Era. They have lost their steam since all the gold has been taken, right? And then finally when Adam Cole lost his gold to Keith Lee, then he gets not punked out, but then he gets kind of punked out by Pat McAfee, former punter of the decade in the Indianapolis Colts. This is going towards a match. We all knew this was going towards a match. We knew that the Pat McAfee show with Adam Cole was there to set up the match. Triple H has been on ESPN twice to set this up as well. We're going to have a match. It's going to be McAfee versus Adam Cole. They're not going up against, Adam Cole, he's always going to deal with the size thing for his entire life, right?
Yeah.
Adam Cole is not Shawn Michaels, small. Shawn Michaels still had some size to him. Adam Cole is more Rey Mysterio with a little bit more height, but Rey Mysterio got bulky when he got into WWE and got some size and wrestled a heavyweight style. Adam Cole is small, but he does wrestle a heavyweight style. I'm telling you, Pat McAfee, if he knew how to wrestle, could take Adam Cole. That's just my thought.
I can't get behind this. It just does nothing for me. Maybe it's because I don't know McAfee and I just maybe don't care.
You know who he is, Dameon? I realized this. Listen to the Pat McAfee show. He would be Meathead if Meathead were an NFL punter because he doesn't shut up. and he runs his mouth a lot. And he pokes.
Yeah.
Does that help you now?
Yeah, I'm there now. Yeah, let's see what happens. I'll give it a chance. Well, let's see what happens. I mean, WWE, they've been guilty of one thing over the course of their existence, and that is salivating over those from the outside that make them legitimate in their mind. And I think this is another one of those cases. They've used celebrities a lot, and I'm going to say not a sports, performer, but a celebrity. In the case of McAfee, it's fine. Let's see what happens. They'll have a match at Takeover 30. I don't know if they've made me care about it yet, but I'll give them a chance to over the next couple of weeks.
Gotcha.
Do so.
Hey, as the commissioner of the PWR draft, I need to know: will you be dropping anybody?
I'm winning. I am winning. How does it feel to be in last place, Meathead? How does
I don't know. I really don't know. It's not something I do.
I'm sorry.
I'm last place is not a word that really is associated with me.
Hold on. My monitor went out. What are you talking about?
I was asking as the commissioner because again, you pulled the curtain back about
who the hell made you commissioner?
It was a consensus. So as the commissioner, I'm asking if you would like to make a move to get Pat McAfee on your fantasy tree.
Oh my God, no! No, absolutely not. I take the Bucks before I take McAfee.
Oh. I mean, just literally, the guy leaves the state of Wisconsin. He's just punching us right in the mommy daddy button.
He's from Indianapolis. What do you mean, mommy daddy button?
No, you said you would rather take the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bucks are
not
from
the Milwaukee Bucks, but the Young Bucks.
Oh, the Young Bucks. Whew.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With the kicks and all that stuff.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's talk more NXT. Santos just beat on Tyler Breeze. I love the Luchador team that even has, again, our boy. But, we can't call him by DJZ anymore. I mean, that's not what he goes by. But, I mean, I just love the team. Damian Priest and Bronson Reed. This was kind of a mid-card diamond in the rough match. I mean, these guys are both kind of the up-and-comers for NXT in 2020, and they had a match in the middle of the show tonight. Your thoughts on Priest and Bronson Reed?
Priest is great. Reed is great. There's got a lot of great talents in NXT right now. I think they're trying to showcase them as best they can. I think they need to, if you look at the two shows, AEW, Dynamite, NXT, No Name, on Wednesday nights, the urgency remains with AEW. Because things are fresh, things are new, and that's a good thing. And NXT is trying, but it's still that WWE sterilized product. And I'm not knocking them for it because that's what they are, and that's why they are number one in the wrestling industry. But these two have been fantastic. A lot of the talents in NXT have been fantastic. But I just need to care more, and I don't know how to get there. Perhaps if I could watch the show uninterrupted, if you will, by the competition over on TNT, I would care more. But at this point, great talents, great wrestlers. See what the future holds for them.
Yep. So good match there. I enjoyed the match. At home with Johnny and Candice LeRae was kind of funny. I would have loved to seen somebody order out for pizza. Maybe, like Sims 4, you click on Johnny to see if he'll go and flush the toilet or repair it or something, scavenge for parts. I mean, I don't know. But the main event, and I want to get a little bit into this. We have not seen one of the competitors in the main event since a report came out during I wouldn't call it a Black Friday, but during a weekend when lots of E2 allegations had come out. There was allegations that Velveteen Dream, not confirmed, by the way, but Velveteen Dream had sent inappropriate pictures to minors. He was back last night in the main event in the triple threat against Kushida and Cameron Grimes. Now, Kushida, dude, I swear to God, am I wrong here, but did he not look like Marty McFly? I mean, he came out with the orange, life preserver, denim jacket, and the Doc, glasses across his eyes. I thought he looked like he was Back to the Future. Cameron Grimes, big winner. We'll be going to the 5-man match at TakeOver 30.
Shane Helms on our Thursday night tonight edition of Primetime, the Super Show. He's been high on Cameron Grimes for a very long time, and Cameron, he's got great talent, great potential. The win last night definitely puts him into another category rather. You know, I'm interested to see what he does at TakeOver.
Any thoughts on Velveteen Dream? Again, not necessarily cleared, but not necessarily proven. Same thing for Matt Riddle over on SmackDown. Those allegations both came out on the same weekend, along with other talents that were mentioned. There was talents from the NXT UK brand that were mentioned and instantly released. I know Joey Ryan was released from Impact Wrestling. But it seems that Velveteen Dream and, like I said, Matt Riddle have gotten by.
You know, it's tricky, Meathead. You know, being embedded in the wrestling business for the last 20 years, you see a lot of people who have intentions when they meet these superstars.
Yes.
And I don't fault the superstars for taking advantage of, not advantage, but taking...
allowing
the opportunities that have been presented themselves. And, you know, when you're in a position of power, a position of stardom, you have to be mindful of those things. Yeah. And you have to think about how does this end? You know, what happens next? And Velveteen Dream, I've seen the posts, I've seen the Instagrams that he allegedly sent to a minor. You know, sometimes this is tricky to say.
It's tricky to say.
When a minor represents themselves as a non-minor, you have to wonder who the blame goes to at that point. And I understand there are laws and things are legal and illegal, and I'm not supporting anything that's illegal. But, you know, you don't have a bouncer on your social media. So no one's checking IDs. So if a person says, and I think in this case, actually, they had indicated they were younger, you know, a word to the wise for everybody is when you're interacting on socials, just realize that you're making it permanent.
Yeah. When it goes to the internet, it's there forever.
Everything lives there forever.
That's why I still live in 1990s West Dallas.
Stally.
The dirty is what they call it. Dameon, we've gone super long. And again, I
know you do this to me every week. I've got things to do today, and you keep me beyond. I'm supposed to be at the gym 10 minutes ago.
Right. I was going to say, I can hear traffic is buzzing by right now.
Is it?
No, it's okay, folks. When we get Dameon Nelson, because he doesn't show up every week, when we get Dameon Nelson, we need to hear.
2 weeks in a row.
It is. So I'm going to check with my lawyer
to see if we appreciate my presence.
No, when we get Dameon Nelson, we let it go long because we got to hear what Dameon has to say. So don't forget, tonight we've got the Super Show again. Is Dave going to be on the program? I mean, because I know that you pushed him off last week.
Meathead. It's the Super Show.
Oh, did I enunciate the wrong part again?
Yes. You put the wrong emphasis, or you put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Yeah, it's a Super Show tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, Fight TV. Shane Helms, David Hero, myself. We're going to cover the entire week of wrestling, including talking about Dominic getting his ass whipped this past Monday night. Oh. Ric Flair getting kicked in the head in the dark.
And in the heart after what Randy said about his dead son.
You know what that reminded me? I'll hit on it quickly. Is I don't know if you've watched the show Scandal, but it was one of my favorite shows on ABC Thursday nights with Kerry Washington, who, quite frankly, is probably the most beautiful woman on this planet.
She's up there. She's top 5.
There was a time where Jake, who killed God, I don't remember his name. He was a reporter, Cyrus's boyfriend, and he
Waldo.
Did the whole.
Where in the world is Waldo? Is that it?
No, that wasn't it. He did the same thing as Randy Orton did to Ric Flair. Now, there's reasons why Randy did this to Rick, because Rick is, not in the greatest of health, but the whole attack and hold, bring down, caress, say, I'm sorry, I'm going to stay with you. There was that scene where Jake, had shot him in the back and said, your kid's going to be fine. I had to do this. I'm sorry. I'm going to stay with you until you pass, blah, 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 blah. It was a very similar situation on Raw this past Monday night when Randy Orton attacked Ric Flair. And the problem is, and we'll get more into it tonight on Primetime, the problem is you saw it coming. Now, I expected it to happen last week. It happened this week. Fine. But
it should have happened next week on a go-home, not a week before.
Yeah, it was all very hokey. It wasn't very well executed. You know, Drew coming out an hour later for the save. We'll talk about all that tonight on Primetime about what was wrong with it and what was right with it.
Okay, well, folks, you've heard it from Dameon Nelson. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on all the socials and all the podcast forums that you can find, the Fight TVs, the Apple TVs, the Stitchers, the Spotifys, the Sprecher Root Beers, whatever they're called. Make sure you're checking us out. So for Dameon Nelson, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.